Has Microsoft been stressing you out lately? Maybe you're like me and a lot of other users who have been loyal Windows users for, in my case, well over 30 years now. And maybe you're just getting concerned about the direction that Microsoft is taking, all of this like forcing bad updates that's breaking systems, and the increasing pushing and invasiveness of like Copilot and AI and destroying our privacy and security and all of that kind of stuff. If any of that's been on your mind lately and you've been considering some drastic measures like jumping ship, but in my case, if you're like me and a lot of other people where you're so used to Windows, you don't want to go to Apple, you don't know what else is out there, but maybe you've heard whispers of Linux and this other dark side operating system, or maybe you have heard of Linux and maybe its reputation precedes it and you're too scared to jump ship. So if that's how you're feeling, you're just frustrated with Microsoft, but you don't want to commit to trying to leave to go to another operating system just yet, let me show you some ways to kind of at least take back some of that control and make Windows a little more friendly for you, a little less invasive for your privacy, and even a little bit better performative for using less resources that your computer has. First thing I'm going to show you right now is how to use a couple of programs to debloat your system. If you don't know what debloating is, it just basically means taking all of the unnecessary stuff that Microsoft has put on your laptop or your computer, things that they think you should be running or that they want you to be running that might not actually be in your best interest or your computer's best interest. Everything I'm showing you here is going to be free and it's going to be super easy. So let's just jump right in the computer and get started. All right, well, there's a lot of debloating software out there that's free and it works really well. Today, we're going to be focused on one called Winhance. So we're just going to type that into our browser. We're going to go to their website here. All right, before we go any further, just because I've been a YouTuber for a long time and I know a lot of people don't finish videos these days, you see this right here, this Made with Love by Memory. Memory is the name of the guy who created this program. And if you appreciate like free software and stuff like this, like nothing is free. Everything costs somebody's time and somebody's life that's gone into this. Just if you can, take a few bucks and throw them some support. It makes the world of difference. And it helps us to fight the good fight for all kinds of, developers and creators and everything. It makes a massive difference. So Memory has a lot of easy ways to make sure you can donate. And even if you can just do a couple of bucks right now, it really helps. And if you want to go straight to the source for this stuff and don't take some random guy's word on YouTube, go check out the website, check out GitHub, all those things. Memory's got their own YouTube channel. And in case of third-party software like this, it's always good to look into, who's working on it and where did it come from, and, make sure you're safe, because that's a disclaimer. In the end, you're always responsible for whatever you do to your own PC. All right, that being said, I definitely trust this. I've trusted this with my own personal computers, my work computers, and I've been using it for a while. So the first thing we're going to do is just open up File Explorer and go to wherever your downloads were. And we're going to open this up and just run it. For the installation type, I just keep it as a regular installation. And then once that's ready, we're just going to go ahead and launch it. Okay, so here we are. This is what some debloat software looks like. A lot of it has similar styles and applications. So basically by default, we're in here in the Windows apps and features. And the first thing that we want to do is we're going to go take a look at everything that's installed and uninstall some things. Now you might be thinking like, why can't you just come in here and go to uninstall a program? Because some of this stuff isn't in here, and some of the stuff that is in here, Microsoft won't let you uninstall. Like Edge, for example. If I click on it to uninstall, it just shows to change. I don't even have an option. See, if I click on something else, I can uninstall that completely. But Microsoft won't let you uninstall Edge, at least not in the United States. Now that doesn't mean it's illegal to uninstall Edge. That just means that they just don't want you to, and they're trying to be really sneaky about not letting you. So with this kind of program, with a debloat tool, we can come right over here and we can select Microsoft Edge. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. So there's some stuff on here like Copilot, and I definitely don't want that. Some of the AI stuff that's on here, like it says it can do it, but I don't know if it really does it. So in another video, I'm going to show you how to go through and do some separate steps to really uninstall all of the AI. But for now, we definitely are going to check it because I don't want Copilot. I don't want Bing Search. I don't want Teams because this isn't a work laptop and I own my own business and I don't use Teams to talk with my team. I don't want the Get Help. I don't want the Family Safety because I don't need it. I don't want the 365 Copilot Office Hub because I definitely don't need that. I don't want Clipchamp. I don't want Microsoft News. I don't want MSN Weather. I don't want Paint. So your list may be different for the things that you want or don't want. And that's why something like Winhance is so great, because you don't have to do exactly as I do. But if you don't know, you can. Very customizable. So some things that I personally don't want and that I know that I don't need. And I don't advise doing this if you do anything with games at all. But this is not a gaming laptop that I'm using for games. I don't need the Xbox stuff. Now, there are some things, if you are going to be gaming, or if you have certain graphics cards or something like that, that are going to need the game bar plugin and protocol and stuff to log in or whatever. That's why I don't recommend deleting this if you think you might have something like that. So we can also install features, and this is really cool. So this is like Windows optional features. If you're a nerd like me and you want to run like virtual machines or whatever, you can turn on some of these virtual machine platforms like Hyper-V and Hyper-V management tools. That's pretty cool. And then if you come over here, like I said about installing, if we switch to the external software, so this section is really great for if you're doing a fresh install and maybe you've put this on a little USB drive, or maybe this was the first thing that you downloaded once you get your Windows set up and you want to go ahead and do that deep loading. Instead of using Edge to go download all the things that you want and having to go do them and go to all their different websites, you can just come in here and pick the browser that you want. Like here's LibreWolf, that's the one that I use. It's a Firefox-based browser that's focused a lot more on privacy, and I like it. A lot of people also like Brave. That's a really great one. But you can see browsers isn't all they have. So if you know you're going to be dealing with zip files and all that stuff, getting WinRAR, 7-zip, all of that stuff. A lot of this stuff is also more for like developers, coders, hackers, those kind of things. But if you're just like a regular person and you just want some stuff and trying to get away from Microsoft and all of that, you can also come down here, check out their documents. LibreOffice is free and it's really great, and it's what I use. So you can pick some of that kind of stuff. Oh wow, look, I didn't even notice they have Proton Mail. That's what I use. I should have some videos on Proton Mail if they're not already up yet. Stick around, subscribe, because they probably will be soon. There's just so much stuff on here. And that's really what I like about Winhance in particular, is because you can do all of this stuff without it, of course. You can change all of these settings in Microsoft yourself. If you know where they are and how to find them and you know what to do and the hoops to jump through. You can also go online and go to each one of these websites and download the things that you want yourself. But this is all right here, and it's super convenient, and it's got so much of the stuff that you might need. See, look, oh, there's my VirtualBox, which I do need to put onto this laptop. This is a laptop I don't use that much, but for videos like this, I typically run things through a virtual machine. Okay, so we don't need to go too crazy in there. But that's all of the things that I want to do. So I want to go ahead and select install selected items on here. I think the only thing that I selected was the VirtualBox. And then I also, if we come back here, you don't need to come back here to do this, but all the things that we've selected for removal, we can then just come up here to remove selected items. So this will just give you one more show of all the things that it's taking off. So we're going to say goodbye to those. I should also mention while this is running that a lot of these programs, they offer the option to create a restore point or a recovery point for anything you do, and that's always recommended. If they don't option that, then just go into Windows and you can do that yourself. It's highly recommended anytime you're changing things of this level on an operating system. All right, so that's done, and once that's done, you'll see now there's a lot more of these red things here. So the green means these are the ones that are installed. The red means these are the ones that are not installed. And this little arrow here means that they can be reinstalled. So something like this cannot reinstall. So anytime you take something off of Windows where this little icon is here inside this Winhance, just keep that in mind, that that's not something that it can put back. All right, this is where it's going to get gnarly. So now we're going to come in here to optimize. All right, there is a lot of power in this program, and there is a lot of settings inside of Windows to go through. I'm not going through all of these. I'm just going to give you a general rundown of like how I'm doing things and maybe a little bit of the why. So let me show you how this works real quick. This is great because it has the on-off switch, so it will tell you right here what the feature is. Then underneath it, it will tell you what it does. And then the cool thing is if you hover over this, it will tell you whether it's recommended or not. One of the things that I do want to change immediately is pretty much all of this stuff in the content delivery and advertising. I do not want any of my data to go towards advertising. That's just, I'm not cool with that. So I'm going to come in here to basically go to deny, and it's going to deny every single one of these in this block. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at them just to make sure that they're all what I want, you know? So go ahead and check these descriptions and stuff like that. Like right here, OEM pre-installed apps prevents OEM manufacturers from automatically installing bloatware apps. I really don't want that. And if you're unsure, again, you could come over here and hover and look at that. Recommended, 0 value. 0 value equals disabled. So that just makes you feel good inside. And then stuff like this, you know, like let websites show me locally relevant content by accessing my language list. I don't think so. Tracking app launches, negative. Manage subscriptions, notifications, no thanks. Narrator online services, nope. Narrator scripting support, Using your typing history and hit no, let me just stop you right there. Sending diagnostic data, that's on you whether you feel like you want to give that to Windows or not. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit no. Tailored experience, I don't want a tailored experience. I'm tailoring my experience, thank you very much. You definitely don't need to ask me for feedback. Search history on this device, nope. See suggestions in search. No, I don't need that because I'm not using your search. I'm not using your cloud stuff, and you don't have access to my cloud stuff, that's for sure. Nope, don't need any of this stuff. Definitely don't want to allow Cortana. The only time Cortana is appropriate is in the game Halo. Location services, this is one of those things that's totally up to you, whether or not you want it to know where you're at and whether or not you have apps that you need to have this on to function. My camera and microphone access I'm allowing right now because I am using them with apps that need it. But I typically, if I'm just out and about and I'm not doing anything, I will go ahead and disable those. I don't think apps need to have access to my Microsoft account. All right, I'm gonna skip through the power plan, but just know that you can do all of that stuff in here too. Notice how this says click to unlock, so you can mess with all of this stuff, but that's just giving you a warning that you could do some hardware damage if you don't know what you're doing. So maybe just steer clear of that stuff for a while. Basically, I'm gonna come all the way down here, almost to the bottom. Okay, so here we go. This section in the scheduled tasks. So pretty much anything that talks about telemetry, I'm going to disable, because I do not want Microsoft spying on my USB devices. That is a big no-no. And it will tell you right here. So Customer Experience Improvement Program Consolidator, and it says disable to improve privacy. I absolutely want to improve my privacy. So basically all of these that are with telemetry, I'm going to turn them off. All right, that's pretty much it for that section. I think that's all I want to do on here. Oh yeah, I don't want this auto update on. I want that off. I think there's one more thing in the customize section that I want to mess with. Let me double check. Yeah, I don't need you to show me recommended files. I don't need that. Definitely don't need that. Okay, I think that's all I want to do for now. So all of those settings are changed. So here's where this program gets really cool too, is that we can come in here and click on our happy little disk and we can save this. So just save that to wherever you want, and there you go. Now, why is saving that, why does that matter? Like, what's that gonna help? What that's gonna do is if and when Microsoft, this is one of the reasons why you're probably upset with Microsoft, if and when Microsoft installs the next security updates or any kind of updates, they may have the ability to override this stuff and turn things back on. That's one of the reasons why myself and a lot of other people are frustrated with Microsoft right now. So if that's the case, just get into the habit of, after you do a Windows update of any kind, go into the import config and then import the one that you just saved. And that will have everything, all those settings. You won't have to go through and individually do those again. You can also put that file onto a USB drive and take it to another laptop or another computer that you want to do for somebody else. The only thing is I don't think the save configs will do this part. I don't think they'll like automatically uninstall things that you've had uninstalled, so I would just double check that. But in terms of all of your options and features and those other customized things, those should all be saved in that file. All right, so that's it. If we come in here and go to our task manager, and if we come down here to performance, by default CPU selected, if we come down here to memory, we can kind of watch it idle and see. In my case, before I did this, it was about 8.5 gigs. My numbers are going to be a little skewed because I'm running OBS right now to capture this. But it was anywhere from, like 6 to 7. So I saved myself around about 2 gigs of memory there. All right, so hopefully that helps take some stress off your plate when dealing with Microsoft. Hopefully it'll help make it run a little bit better too. Just taking off all the stuff that you might not have known was either there or running in the background, soaking up those precious resources, your RAM and your hard drives and stuff. But the biggest thing for me is definitely the privacy. There's no way to escape having your privacy invaded these days with just the way that technology is gone. But any little thing that we can do like this that they don't want you to know about or that they make hard to do just means that it's probably worth doing, and your privacy and your security matter. If you have any questions about anything that I went over or didn't go over, let me know in the comments below. If you've used another debloat tool or you prefer like another one, or maybe you like this one better, throw that down in the comments too, not just for me because I'm curious, but also for anyone else. Developing a community here in these videos definitely helps everybody else also. So if you enjoy this kind of stuff, and if you have any comments about something that you might want to see or concerns, let me know and maybe I'll be able to make it happen. I'm definitely going to have some Linux videos on here too, so whether you're looking to just temporarily just figure out how to even try it, or whether you're looking to like just go all in and make the full switch and just dump Microsoft altogether, I'll have a bunch of videos on that coming up also. All right, it's try time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.